Craig, welcome. It's great to have you here. It's always good to have an interview with OneLifeClub members for us to learn what you do, how you do it, why you're doing it. And I tell you one thing, we actually don't have many people that are doing exactly what you're doing, which is really fascinating to us to learn. So Craig, what do you do? Tell us.
Yeah, so I guess what Comtrack is about, best way to describe it is most investigators in government are offline for weeks and months building what they call a brief of evidence. It's what they go to court with. It's all very manual, and often they'll just finish the investigation and then they'll get all their evidence, all their ring binder files, and spend the next weeks and months putting these briefs together. So I had about 22 years with the Queensland Police, and I was doing exactly the same thing. And the concept came up, we just need to create a platform that as you're going through the investigation and not at the end, just somewhere you could import your evidence into, and then it would build that brief evidence automatically as they went along. Like putting the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle together right at the very start. So as you're going along, you clearly see what's proven, it's not proven, and then when at the end of the investigation, the brief's just ready to go, which means your witnesses, your complainants, even your defendants are not sitting around for months waiting for court cases to come ahead. So that was where the vision started when I was in the police. That's probably about 9 years ago. And
I think you spent quite a few years in police force yourself.
22 years, 22 years.
So obviously you had already kind of experience in the field.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I worked all your criminal investigation branches, your major crime units, drug squad, fraud squad, all that sort of stuff. And like for me, it was like a no-brainer, I guess. And then I left, no experience in business whatsoever.
Yes.
It's a software application. I don't write code at all.
Yes.
Just had a thought around it. And then and the first 5 years, they were the really tough ones as a startup. And of course, I didn't take into account that one of the hardest clients to sell to is government.
Yes.
It's a long process.
Yes.
But the good thing about it is once you've got them, because it's hard to get them, as long as you're doing the job and you're constantly, your iterations, your products are getting better, then generally they'll stay with you for life.
Yes.
So we have almost a 0% churn rate on our client base over the last 6 years.
Big difference and a huge decision going from being employed by somebody to running your own race. When you are working for someone like yourself, specifically for government or police force, you know you're getting paid every month after month all the time. Working for yourself, there's a very good chance you won't have any money coming unless you actually make it, unless you take action, unless you are working out there, hunting for business. And like you said, on start, your probably expectation, like any business owner, this is one thing that I try to tell all the young individuals. When you start your business, the expectation is high. Enthusiasm is high. They think they're going to conquer the world, and our result is huge. But the reality hits from day one. People don't know who you are. You're just starting. And the life is completely different because the only person you are relying on is what you create today, which is you.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, and you've got to really commit to it because it took a good 5 years for us to really get traction in the government.
And that's a long time to start. You got to survive in the meantime.
It is a long time. You got to realise that we're only a small company, about 37 employees, and in the market that we're in, it's considered small because our competitors are like your Microsofts, your SAP, Objective. These are all multi-billion-dollar companies.
Yes.
A company our size generally doesn't get near the clients that we get. Because we had a very unique product.
Yes.
That we were able to sort of make that traction and get there. And the first 5 years were pretty tough. I think I would have lost count the number of times my wife said, "You need to go back to the police.
Yes.
This is too hard. It's not going to work."
Yes.
And I said, "And you just need to hang in there.
Yes.
This is going to work." So,
which is interesting. Maybe you are built differently from the new generation today. I talk to so many young people, and they'll try something. As soon as it feels it's a little bit too hard, they walk away. Because it will be hard first 3 months. It's going to be hard first 6 months. It's going to be hard probably first year or 5. But this is a long game, not just you in and you out. Specifically, right now there's so much temptations for any young individual. They see all the people doing so well on social media, and they think, you know what, I'm going to create a business today and tomorrow. I am running a multi-million-dollar company without actually realizing that I think the number is like 80 or 90% of the businesses do fail in the first 5 years.
Yeah, 100%. Look, it's definitely a long game, and I think look, the world's moving at a massive pace at the moment, and I think patience is a virtue that most people have lost.
Yes.
I guess some of the younger generation, I think, and I think look, sometimes it works.
Yes.
You get and look, I hate those young guys or young girls, and they're 25, 26. They've got their cool T-shirt logo, and suddenly they've made millions of dollars in about 2 years. But it can happen. But it's
and to be honest, whoever makes it happen in 2 years, I always take my hat off to them. Interesting. Other day I'm on a petrol station, and I love cars. I have a lot of cars, and I'm putting petrol in one of my cars, and the young fella, he asked me, he said, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" And I told him what I do for a living, and he said, "How long did it take you for you to be able to own this car?" I said, "Only 25 years." And he said, 25 years, can you tell me I can do it in 2 years? I said, when you find the answer, you tell me so I can buy another one faster.
Yeah, that's right.
So that expectation, as soon as you say 25 years, because I'm 45 now, I've been working, my overnight success is working pretty much 7 days a week from age 16. And that's overnight success, and that's been 9 years.
Yeah, well, I'm obviously a late starter in the private sector, obviously.
But there's no such a thing as a late starter. The right time to start anything is whenever you feel ready.
Yeah, look, and look, I couldn't have built this company without my 20 years in the police. So that's where I really understood the problem.
Yes.
And I could identify the solution.
Yes.
From there, and that's where it's evolved from. So.
Yes, and you have chosen a very specific field. I feel like there's not many people that actually start businesses like yours, or maybe I could be wrong.
No, it's true. So we're in a very like a strict vertical market, and people often confuse us with like case management systems. There's multiple case management systems out there, but we're sort of like evidence and brief manage. We build the brief as you go along. So in reality, our platform stands up right beside any of our competitors. We don't even have to push anyone out of the market. We can just integrate through our APIs, which is a term where just software integrates with each other. So we're quite lucky in that space, but it's moving fast, and we're getting a lot of attention from some of the bigger competitors to find out what's going on. Like, we're winning tenders that we shouldn't be winning at our size with government agencies. For like the NDIS and other Commonwealth agencies, and now we've got a contract with the Queensland Police.
But at the same time, companies like yours that are maybe not as big as your competitors, you can also move a lot faster too.
Oh, 100%. And we get that a lot from a lot of the government agencies where like our implementation is like a matter of like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yes.
And some of the big platforms that build it from the ground up, that's a 12 to 18 month project for them.
Yes.
And on top of that, they'll have maybe like 6 months of business analysts and project managers and all that sort of stuff. So,
do you think looking at business from your perspective, do you think us humans are very good at complicating things?
Oh, 100%. Look, especially when it's government in particular.
Yes.
They're so used to some of your more complex delivery of software applications across.
Where you probably think this can be solved in 2 seconds. Well, let's complicate it.
Yeah, well, ours is like a commercial off-the-shelf product. Like
Yes.
It's configured for any agency,
Yes.
any jurisdiction. In fact, we're just about to start our first launch with a US law enforcement agency in Florida. So it's quite quick for us to stand it up, and that's a hard concept for a lot of government agencies. The natural assumption is it's a 6 to 12 month process for implementing new software into their system. So,
why did you make a decision to leave working for somebody else, government in your case, and start your own race?
So I guess the concept started when I was in the police, and I said, we should build something like this. This makes so much sense. And we started a little project, but we just couldn't get the buy-in within the agency itself.
Yes.
But I just believed it made so much sense. The amount of time and effort people are offline, like they're not on the front line doing policing, they're sitting at their desk building briefs of evidence. It just made so much sense. I said, this has got to work. It's such a massive problem for them. And like you look at, if you have like a law enforcement agency of about 10,000 people, if you increase their efficiency by about, say, 30 or 40%,
yes,
like you're talking about the equivalent of another 4,000 paid full-time frontline
Yes.
officers, but instead you just deliver that efficiency.
Yes,
There was just so much logic to it. I just, which probably kept me going for those 5 years when it was really battling to get through that government sort of wall of procurement
Yes,
to start
yes.
with. So, yeah, and look, don't ask me why I continue with it. I think it was
Yes.
just something. It just had to keep moving forward. There was nowhere else to go. It was like I set my
Yes.
mind up. I said, this has got to work.
Do you enjoy running your own race more?
I love it. I
Yes.
love the.
I got a feeling you're thriving at it as well because your energy is quite high.
Look, my the biggest complaint my staff has is like I just want to get out and demo it to all these clients, and the
Yes.
sales team are going, well, that's our space. So I love doing it. I love getting
Yes.
in front of a group of investigators in government. They all start like this, going, well, it's another case, man. It's just we've seen that, and by the end of it, they're leaning forward in their seats. You can see it in their eyes. They're
Yes,
going,
yes.
well, this could save me half my time.
Yes,
40% of my
yes.
time. And I love that expression on their faces and seeing what we deliver for those agencies. It's good fun. I really do enjoy it.
Clearly, you want to take this bigger.
Yeah, for sure. So, look, we've got we've got a couple of fairly prominent investors
Yes.
who started their own multi-billion-dollar SaaS companies.
Yes.
And they look at us and they refer to us. We're in like they call it's blue ocean,
Yes.
which means they look at it and go, you can take this anywhere. We've just got to build the right team and have the right sort of strategy to move it out. And that's the tough bit at the moment where
Just finding the right people to actually work with.
yeah, and that's a tricky one because I think you start with a group of people and you get to a certain size and you suddenly realise you need people with more experience in these different spaces and things like that. You either got to train up internally or just bring in more people, and it costs more money to get people with that experience. So we're going through that challenge at the moment of scale.
Yes.
Like so much so.
But which is at the same time is a good problem to have as well. Because I always say, it's kind of always catch-22. The hardest thing to do is get business, and then the harder thing to do is actually to keep it. But by the sounds of it, you don't have any problem getting the business.
Yeah, no, we don't really have problems getting it. I think they're long runways for deals,
Yes.
that's for sure. And it's a lot of effort to close them. I think that's always a challenge, and that's one of the things we really we're trying to work to solve. Is how can we sort of have a particular approach which convinces government you don't need to have a 12-month or a 6-month procurement process. You can actually just put this in. It's commercial off the shelf, run as a proof of concept for like 3 to 6 months, and then at the end you decide you either go to market and use what you did with us as a business case, or you make a decision going, well, we've seen this is nothing like out. And we have what they call a lot of they go direct to supplier, which means they've looked at the market and said there's nothing else out there that does this.
Do you only target government, or really you can target almost anybody?
No, so we've got banks use our for like internal fraud investigations, money laundering investigations. We have
because at the moment the scams that are happening with the banks is just unbelievable. I'll give you a perfect example to us, which is so hard to believe. Through our development and construction arm of the business, about 4 years ago, on one of the projects, one of my brother is a builder, and one of the cabinet makers, he called me personally. He said, "Hey, Mil, I'm so sorry to talk to you about this, but can you ask your brother to pay this bill?" It was an $85,000 bill. I said, "I'm so sorry. What bill are you talking about?" He said, "It's the bill for the cabinetry." So I called my brother straight away. I said, "Danny, it's been 3 months. How can you not pay this?" He said, "I'm pretty sure that's paid. Hold on." He checked. Bill was paid the day that they sent it to my brother, because he's really good. That's why contractors like working for him, because he pays them the same day. 3 months later, people are waiting for the money. So to cut the story short, what happened, these scammers, they logged into emails of this cabinet company, and they sent an invoice to my brother, correct amount, $85,000, and invoice came from the accounts, and invoice also CEO was CC'd as well. So of course it's correct, but they logged in, they went through all the invoices, and they put their own account numbers, which was somewhere in Parramatta in Sydney, and $85,000. So my brother, Danny, he paid the invoice, but they never got it. So they were waiting, they didn't tell us, and so for 3 months they're just waiting for the money. So it's not like they saw it straight away. 3 months pass, we realize it. We got police involved and banks, and and never find it, nothing. So lucky, everybody had insurances and so on. But $85,000 gone into the air.
Yeah, fraud's the biggest cost to society in
$85,000 for a company. That's just one individual, one company.
Yeah, we had a girl at work that had something similar. She had some labourer work done around. It might have been carpentry actually, and same thing. But she got an invoice from appeared to be the company, and then they paid it. And
that's exactly what we did.
That company had been hacked. Yeah.
That's exactly what we did. Paid $85,000 that just disappeared.
Yeah, well, fraud's massive. Like the NDIS is one of our clients, and their losses through fraud and schemes is like in the millions and millions of dollars.
Yes,
it's an insane amount of money. So, but yeah, no, it's good. And I think the whole concept of we rolled out AI across our platform. So now our AI will go across records of interviews, witness statements, records, and it'll now search for evidence and map it to
and massively time saving.
Oh, huge!
AI,
absolutely huge. It's something that you've got to really deep dive and understand it well. To do it, and it's something you've got to have really good industry knowledge to train your AI model so it thinks like you think.
But the dangerous thing about AI, yourself as a business owner, if you're not ahead with time, you can be so behind tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. So we're in the middle of building a bigger AI team solely for that purpose, because we know that
there's a future.
It's here now, and you just have to embrace it. It's no good going, well, I'm not going to do that because it's like a magic wand. It's still untested. It's been tested a lot.
Well, it's been tested a lot. I mean, before anybody started using, it's been tested for many years. And at the moment, I think we are living what I would say in the best time ever that we can utilize all of the tools that are in front of us that can make our businesses better tomorrow. But at the same time, it's the most dangerous time if you're not utilizing it.
Yeah, well, we had a lot of staff that go, is AI going to replace my job? And then the reality is AI won't replace your job, but someone who knows how to use AI may well replace your job.
That's
so you need
exactly
to learn it.
100%. What's next for you? Next 9 years?
Yeah, so I mean, the big thing at the moment, we weren't looking to move to the US market till next year, but we've been getting a lot of interest. So
because Australian market is very little compared to the US.
Yeah, I mean, if we captured the whole Australian market, that'd be pretty good as well. It's still, because it is like we are heavily regulated country, so there's plenty of legislation around compliance and all sort of stuff. But the US market's probably our next push, and so yeah, we're looking at the moment to build the team to take in that space. So we've got to put it into a couple of agencies to start with, just to make sure there's a good fit and everything. And but yeah, that'll be the next sort of big move for us, I suspect. So, which again, it's going to be another rapid scale, and that comes with its own sort of problems. Like often when you get to that potential scale, you'll probably go out for an investment round, I would think. Otherwise, you just have to rely on organic growth.
Yes.
And
you might not be able to scale as fast without it.
Yeah, that's and look, it's the only for SaaS companies in particular. You generally have to go out for a round to sort of really to keep up with that scale.
How do you manage family life and work?
Yeah, it's
in a business that's constantly growing.
Yeah, look, it's tough. One of my goals at the moment is to manage that a bit better, and one of my main investors said that I micromanage probably a little bit too much yet. And I said, I agree, but until I've got the confidence in all these new team leads and stuff, it's hard for me just to say, okay, go forth and I'll see you in 3 months. But that's the objective, to surround myself with some really good team leaders across all the different areas and be able to look at them and go, you know what, I'm confident I could just check in every 3 months with you and I can just focus on the business growth. So that's the dream, is to get to that level of people around you.
That's the hardest thing that I was I'm going through, is being able to let go. But to scale it really big, the reality is you can't physically do everything, or I can't do everything. And it comes down to finding people that are capable and loyal enough and trustworthy to take that pressure off you. But even then, I think psychologically with me, when I was going through it, was just hard letting go, because this is my life. I built this. I was fighting for this. And the day that I let go, that's the day that I started really growing. Because I felt like, Craig, for a very long time, I felt like I was like a rugby player. You know, when you're on the field, you're just running. You don't know where the hell you're going. You're passing the ball, run left, run right. You're just running. And the day that what I would call became a coach, then I can see all my players. I can see, okay, right, you're actually not doing a good job in that part of the field. I'm going to move you maybe here or kick you out completely, get somebody else in. That's when I started saying, okay, shit, now I can actually see my business from a different perspective instead of just being that footballer, running the ball, running like a madman.
Yeah, it's funny you use that analogy because I've been watching this series. I think it's on Prime. It's about Ryan Reynolds, the actor, bought a soccer team over in the UK. And I was watching that and I was just making the connection with the business where they were talking about all these different positions on the field, but they're working together as a team to hit that end goal of getting goals. But if one of those people is not doing their job, everything falls over. And you have to you need to just look at the person and say, look, you've been with the team for a while, but we're going to bench you.
Yeah,
because there's nothing, and we're going to pay someone a lot more money to come in and fill that spot because it's better for the team.
And team goes forward. But saying that, I grew up with soccer and I played soccer for a very long time. And when you have 11 players on ground, if you take only one player gets red card, that is just got a 50%. There's a chance you're going to lose the game. If two players get red card, people will notice what's missing there as well. And it takes a good solid team. Managing people, I always say the biggest thing that I always push on to make sure that team they don't get complacent, because it doesn't matter if you're great today, if you become complacent tomorrow, business can suffer because there's always another competitor that want to take your business away from you.
Yeah, and it's true. And I think we're at that size where we're not big enough where you've got people just filling seats just because everyone needs to bring something to the table for us, mate, because we're moving so fast. We don't have the luxury of people just having a seat and just doing enough to get by. Everyone's got to bring something to the table for us, and it's a challenge for us. Like we're trying to build up this quarterly cadence where we set all the goals for each section of 3 months, and let's see where it is, and it's getting the right team leaders in place. And look, we've got some really good people, that's for sure, and some that have grown with us over the years. My very first employee, Dave, he's still with me today. And he's been on the journey and been through the rocky roads where we thought we were heading towards the wall.
And what does your partner say today?
I think she still thinks I work way too much, and it's probably true. But she's been through those hard yards as well, and now can see it's starting to evolve and it's growing rapidly, and sees it's been it's been really good the last 2 years, that's for sure. So the last 3 years.
Anything worthwhile takes time.
Yeah, 100%. So that's and I think the big thing for her was, I think, like about 18 months ago when we did that first round, we were able to dilute some of my shares, then we paid out our home and all that sort of stuff, and that was like something we're like, wow, this feels weird. We don't we're like debt free, and I was thinking, this is fantastic. But about 4 weeks later, she went and found another house. So we're no longer debt free.
A very good friend of mine who's also a member of OneLifeClub, Mike Clooney, and turnover in his business is about $700 million. And he said, Emil, he's got a brother, and they always have discussion between each other. They said, the second we become comfortable, we go and get more loans. Then we got to stay on our feet and actually go and get more things done. But it's pleasure getting to know you. And I look forward to meeting you again, and I look forward to what I call our boot camps over 2-3 days as well, where we all meet everyone as well. And I think you missed on the last one. You just became member after that. That was epic on the Gold Coast 2 days that we had. We were making everybody feel uncomfortable for 2 days, starting from the one that we did in Simon Bede's home. We started with 1 hour exercise in the morning with his personal trainer, and most of us are not fit enough to actually do a workout on tennis court. And then we started with 4 minutes in cryo. Have you ever tried cryo?
No.
Cryo is, I call it a freezer. You walk in there, it's minus 88 degrees. Unbelievable for your body. I feel like my mind clears there so much. Minus 88 for 4 minutes, where you feel pain in your bones from all the cold, but it's such a good recovery. And then from there, 15 minutes steam room, from 15 minutes steam room to 3 minutes ice bath. and then back to sauna, then back to ice bath, everything that body tells you not to do. You know, who wants to be frozen, or who wants to jump into ice bath? But that's business as well. We get tested all the time to do things that our mind is telling us, well, I can't do this. You know, I shouldn't do it. And the last time, the second time we had a 3-day event, I am known, which my partner Giselle keeps making fun of me, that I can't handle ice bath more than 15 seconds. I was in it for 16 minutes last time. Just putting yourself in the right mindset, and we were doing, have you ever done breath work?
No.
Me either. So all this stuff, I was like, what do you mean breath work? I know how to breathe, you know? And which is ridiculous. But with these guys, the way they did it for 11 minutes, teaching us how to breathe better and stay more focused, I was in the ice bath with my mind for 16 minutes. And I can't last more than 30 seconds normally. So stuff like that was really challenging in the morning, and then we had amazing sessions as well.
I'm really looking forward to getting those. The key thing for me in coming down this track with One Life was there was actually a couple of things that, on your question, he said, like, what do you bring to the table as opposed to what you want? And I think what I bring to the table is I've made every mistake everyone could make.
And I think all of us in the club have done the same thing.
For sure, yeah. And so for me, it was about just surround myself with people I could draw on their experiences, because it can be quite a heavy burden when you get to a certain size. You go, I'm making all the important decisions here. Am I making
the right ones?
So, and I've
and
got
especially, you know, the time comes that, you know, in our lives, decisions that we make does impact others. You know, we all employ people, and any decision that we might make today can impact others as well tomorrow. And we have so many amazing people from so many amazing industries, and we're all fighting the same battle. You know, we all want to grow as individuals. We all want to get better. We all want to have a better balance in our life, because one thing for sure, the clock doesn't stop ticking. The time that we are on this earth is limited to all of us. So how we live it and how we utilize that time and how much enjoyment we get out of, you know, our life is up to us.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's an exciting road, that's for sure. And I couldn't imagine doing anything else. Like I love the challenge that owning your own company brings to you. I think there are some tough times, but every now and then you just get that win in, and you go, you know what, I did that.
And the thing is, what's also important, when you work for somebody, a lot of people want to make the decision to jump and start their own race, but a lot of people jump and create something like you have, but a lot of people never do. By the time that fear goes out, it's too late. They might be freaking 95 years old and there's no rehearsals in life. Yeah,
that's right. No, that's good. I'm enjoying it. So I'm looking forward to meeting some of the other members. My wife's already scanning the membership, looking for builders, renovators.
We got that too.
Anyone that she could reach out to start doing something.
Well, if he can help with anything, it would be always awesome. But it's been a pleasure.
For sure. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.